CrossFit Richmond people. We're just going to be going through a movement that we use a lot in the warm-up, the GHD Back Extension. We're going to go through the positioning of it because we've been seeing a lot of incorrect movement in the warm-up. So I just want to go through how to position yourself quickly, what's correct and what's incorrect. So if I get Amy to pop herself into the GHD machine, securing her feet against the pads, you can use the handles there. It feels a little awkward because you've got to bring yourself right over the pads. So pull yourself as far forward to ensure that the hip has no contact with the pads. So really it's predominantly the quad having access to the pad, and the hip needs to be clear to allow this hinge from the hip. So she's going to come forward into what we call hip flexion. So she's hinging at the hip, keeping the back in a really nice, so the back integrity is actually what we're looking for. And I'm going to get you to go forward if you can a little bit more. I'd love her to get to 90 degrees, maintaining that position, and then coming up into extension. She doesn't have to get into a mad position here, as long as she's maintaining a nice sort of flat back, but she's in a little bit more of extension, a tiny bit more hollow. The head's neutral, so you're hinging at the hip, coming forward, the head is neutral, not extending again at the neck and making that in an ugly position. Just keep that nice and neutral, and then hinge at the hip and going down. You're going to access a lot more hamstring work here, okay, but the back has never lost its integrity. She's maintained that position especially, so if you lose lumbar curve now as you go over, this is what I don't want to see in your warm-ups. We're trying to strengthen all the muscles that hold the spine in the supported position. Now there's another variation that we do use, so hop out of that GHD machine. We use an ab mat sometimes on the floor. Now you'll notice that the hip is now in a fixed position. So the hip is no longer the pivotal point. What we're actually developing now is that she's going to come up into extension, and we're now developing more of this lumbar thoracic sort of area. So scapula, I'll pull back. Again, the head's in a neutral position. She'll go down, touch the nose to the ground, and then come back up into the extension position. The legs are flat on the ground, they don't come up. And this is something that you guys, especially when you're holding the deadlift position, because this is pretty much what we want to see when you're holding your lift start position. We want to make sure that you can do this at home. You can add this into your warm-up, and it's going to develop that position really nicely. So this is more development for this lumbar thoracic, and this one's actually more about hip, hinging at the hip, keeping this in integral position, but developing more of the hamstring glute area, so you'll feel that developing. So we're just working two different areas. Again, still predominant posterior chain movements, but don't think that one will equate to the other, because they're quite different. All right.